Welcome to the Polity, coming to you as usual from the Abuja studio of Kaftan Television, and as usual we bring you a topic that is dear to your heart. And my name is Dayo Mogwan. I'm excited to be here. I hope you're excited. I hope you're having a beautiful day out there. And just in case your day's not been too good, I can assure you that as you hook onto this program, there's every tendency that things are going to change for you, and because you're going to get so much information, education, and then humor, and all of that put together should be able to turn around your the narrative as far as you're concerned. And today we're starting a little bit late, and please do forgive us for that. It's not in our character to do this, but we had some issues. And so please, right now, let's stay together for the next about 75 minutes. And I can assure you that it's going to be one time that you'll cherish even hereafter. And I have two guests in the house, and I have one guest on standby remotely. The guest sitting next to me is Mujahid Zeitawa of Maja, and welcome, Mujahid.
It's a pleasure to Nigerians. Right
now, I also have Ben Agunloye. You know Ben Agunloye, I believe, most of you. Very articulate, very in-depth kind of person. He provides you historical backgrounds, so he knows what he's talking about. Ben Agunloye, welcome. And then I also have Dr. Stephen Okwori, who's not here physically, but we will be connecting with him in the course of the program. And he is a security expert. He's been here sometime back, some time ago. And this team promises to deliver very effectively on the topic that's up for discussion today. Now, today we're talking about Nigeria's Minister of Defense who resigned, and by that we're talking about former Governor Badaru of Jigawa State, who after the 8 years of being governor was appointed minister by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And just yesterday he threw in the towel, and we're looking at the various associated issues. And I do know that he, in his resignation statement, he did say he was resigning on health grounds, and so you begin to think it looks like a pattern is gradually being forged in the country, that when people are asked to resign, they quickly hinge it on resignation on health grounds. We know we can quickly recall the story of the former chairman of APC, I think Garba Umar Ganduje, who used to also be governor in Kano State, and when he was we have sources that tell us that he had to leave the seat, and what he quickly latched onto was health grounds. So when you hear health grounds, it might just mean a moniker for something else. So we go straight into the matter right now, and Ben, I'll be asking you, so did you see this coming? It came a bit suddenly. It came a bit because this minister 2 days ago was still in the news, or was it 2 or 3 days ago, was still very much in the news, and not for health challenges. It was as if he was on top of his game and all that. Did you expect this?
It's not the suddenness, but the reason given that possibly I find funny.
Oh, okay.
For me, I think that you have a task, you have tried all your best, and you think your best is not sufficient. It will be right to say, look, I have done
my best,
all that is within me to do. And because my best is not sufficient for this assignment, I am stepping
down
aside. Mr. President, look for someone who will have a better capacity. Prepare a proper handing over note. State what you have done and then let it be. I don't think we should be hiding under health challenges and some other frivolous reasons here and there. Because for me, if you are going for health challenges, then you cannot even do proper handing over.
You won't even be
because nobody should be disturbing you.
You probably are on a stretcher.
So if you are leading because okay, your strength is not enough, then you say okay, this is what I have done. This is the areas where I think I have failed. I always say it. Back in the days, I think it was in Shagari regime. Paul Lunongo came to that cabinet from the NPP. He wasn't an MPN member. NPP had the majority in Benue, and so he was the minister taken to represent Benue. And he was in charge of, I think, power and steel. And I remember that clearly in his handing over note. He wrote, "This is my blueprint for Ajaokuta. I am no longer going to be here, but I hope that whoever will take over after now
will continue the legacy.
Will be able to continue this and make necessary adjustment." That's a clear-cut resignation. I am leaving because, of course, the situation and circumstances are not okay. But these are the things I think should be happening. So we would have looked forward to seeing a brother who tell us A, B, C, D is what we have done, particularly in the last 1 week. These are the gaps that we have noticed. And I think that someone else will be in a better position to continue this assignment.
As you're well aware, Africans are not, we don't have a culture of giving up. We don't have a culture of saying, I've done so much and I think that I'm not hitting the target, so someone else should take over. I guess that's why we're now making it a pattern to hide behind health grounds. And like you said, there's really no need for that. There's absolutely no need for that, because why? I mean, we're human beings, and you may not excel all the time. And so it's important that we are able to imbibe the culture of saying, this is what I'm able to do, and from this point, we may need to allow someone else to take over. Doctor, are you there?
Yes, absolutely.
Have you been watching? Okay, you mentioned a challenge. You talked about a challenge a while ago. All right, so of course, we're talking about the defense minister's resignation. And did you see his resignation coming?
Yeah, let me start by saying that actually I did not see the resignation coming. If you look at the time that his resignation came to the public space, it was like almost 10 p.m. in the night yesterday. And I was wondering what prompted the minister to resign and why the hurry for him to resign at that time of the night. But you are aware that the National Security Advisor, alongside the Inspector General of Police and some other persons, left this country to the U.S. You know, they had some meetings. The U.S. delegation for delegation.
Yeah,
I don't know the outcome. I don't know the outcome of the meeting. But by the time you need to put one and two together, you begin to try to read in between the lines. But it's very difficult for a public office holder to tender resignation out of a sudden. Something must have prompted it. Something must have led to it. But since the minister gave his reasons, and the reasons are personal, based on health concerns, I want to leave it at that. He has done his best as Minister of Defense, although when the President has signed portfolios when they were nominated, I criticize when he has signed portfolios to the Minister of Defense. I think the minister as a pure politician that doesn't have security knowledge or understanding. He doesn't have a professional background with regards to security, as well as the Minister of State doesn't also have security knowledge and professional background. So, looking at these two personalities manning the office of the Minister of Defense and Minister of State for Defense, and considering our insecurity issues, challenges, and our community, I was expecting that somebody at least with security knowledge, has some institutional memory of the incident, of the issues that are happening in Nigeria, and will come with professional touch and order to see how to help address the issues. But I guess the president's prerogative to appoint whoever he wants to appoint and to assign portfolios, but the assignment of portfolios to key politicians such as the Minister of Defense and Minister of Police Affairs didn't go down well with me at all.
All right, so quickly, another one based on what you have just said. So going forward, would you be suggesting, would you recommend a situation where once nominations are made, the particular portfolios are also indicated alongside?
Absolutely. I think that's the way to get it right. President of the country, if you elect persons that are privileged to serve in your cabinet, as you send the new nominees to the National Training, best thing to accept the nominee, so that questions will be asked based on the portfolios that have been assigned to them. Because when you send to the National Assembly for screening, for instance, we have the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace, who happens to be a lawyer and an SCN. When he went before the senator, that were asked, or they asked him, of course, they centered around law and all that.
Yeah.
Nobody thought that the man would be assigned aviation. So, of course, you don't expect senators to begin to ask him questions tailored towards aviation, right? So, I think at that point, we miss it as a government and all that. So, for me to get it right, as you send names of nominees, assign the offices that you want to give to them, so that senators can ask questions based on the office and based on issues surrounding, the particular portfolio, right? I think with that we'll get it right. But just sending names and just blanket them and there's no portfolios assigned to it, I don't think it is the right thing to do. You see, unfortunately for us as a country, when this government, this set of people are outside government, they tend to know the right thing, they tend to do the right thing, and they tend to tell the government in power the right thing or what to do that is right. But the moment they get into power, what they tell government that is in power, them as position outside, they begin to do the same thing or completely opposite what they preach. Right? So for us to get it right, I think that it is way to go. Then assign portfolios to these particular individuals. The question can be asked based on their portfolios.
So two things quickly. It then means that once this is not done, it could make the session with the Senate of little or no value. That's what you're saying, because like the example you cited of Keyamo, if it were known that he was going to aviation, his knowledge of aviation issues would have been the area of test, the area of questioning, rather than questioning him about politics, about law, maybe about again labor. He had just come out from being Minister of State for Labor at the time, so probably they would have also checked that with him. So that's one. But don't you also think that it's a ploy by the appointing authority to be able to blindside the populace so that they don't have an input into what eventually is given. They probably also know that there will be questions asked. Why would you put a lawyer in aviation space? Why don't you get an aviation expert, an engineer or something to put in aviation? Maybe don't you think that the president is probably not too comfortable knowing that that's where he wants to put, and he knows that questions will arise, and that's one way by which he can avoid those questions?
No, I don't think so. Because if you look at the immediate past Minister of Aviation, that happens to be a retired captain and a pilot, that's Hadi Sirika.
Yes.
Can you compare what Hadi Sirika did the period he was there as Minister of Aviation, having been a professional within the aviation sector, and compare him to what Festus Keyamo is doing at the moment?
When you ask that, how do you mean? Which one's better?
Of course, Festus Keyamo is better.
Right.
Now we are talking about the intention. We are talking about the will, the deliberate will, right? To do what you want to do when you are appointed into an office, right? Festus Keyamo is not an aviation expert. He's a lawyer. So even if you appoint him and you assign the aviation portfolio to him, let him go before the Senate. Whatever questions they ask him, it is not left for him to be able to see how to respond to the questions based on his level of understanding and of governance and all that. Yes, to be a minister, of course, I agree that it's an administrative position where somebody can administer and all that. But the point I am making is that, you see, we're talking about different individuals. In as much as I criticized the ministers that were assigned some security offices to ministry, but that of the Ministry of Interior, the man is an engineer, electrical engineer also. But if you see, he's performing well. You can't take that away. You know, the immigration and civil defense and other paramilitary security agencies that are under his ministry, I can see that the man is the cordiality between him and the CGs and all that. They are doing very well. You know, unlike when it was Rauf Aregbesola that was there as Minister of Interior, that we only knew him when public holidays did have for him to come and announce.
All right, doctor. I'll probably get back to you, but stay ready on hand.
That's all right.
Thank you. I guess we'd just take that off for now. We can cut the call now. Ben, let me come to you. So, do you also share Dr. Okwori's point of view that the appointment from the ab initio was a little bit not well deserved?
Well, I will not share that totally. These two individuals in question have been chief security officer of their states for 8 years. Jigara, for me, when you look at the states surrounding bordering Jigara and the positioning of that state itself, you will know that maybe for the 8 years of Governor Badaru, there were not much security issues. Even though Katsina was boiling, Zamfara was turning upside down, there were still issues in the northeast. You could really say that to a large extent.
Jigara,
if you hear anything at all, maybe flood, maybe twice you have tanker issues, which are not day-to-day security material. So, for me, therefore, I would say it's not an issue of who was appointed or what their backgrounds were. Basically, the military or defense is a very professional environment. Professional as they are, governance for me is also a profession. So when you come to governance, you're talking about processes, you're talking about procedures, you're talking about policies. You're being able to sit down and ensure that the policies that are existing are adhered to. Is where the issue comes. And for somebody who has sat over commissioners for 8 years, I think that sitting down to oversee what the 3 service chiefs and the chief of defense staffs and their various agencies are doing shouldn't have been a big deal.
No, but can you give what you don't have?
That's why I said governance. In governance, when you come to you as a minister,
you also just said that the defense place is a purely professional,
and the rules are defined and the templates are set.
Good.
So you as somebody who is in governance only need to know, okay, what are the templates that have been set. And for somebody who has been governor of a state for 8 years, for crying out loud, we shouldn't look at him as somebody who does not have required experience to take reports, to give instruction, to sign off on things, to evaluate policies. He's got people that have worked with him and should have been able to do that. Now, when things are not done, the health sector forever has been managed by doctors. The only time Abacha appoints a pharmacist, they went on strike. But as the Ministry of Health, as it is today, right, can we actually say that it is the best performing ministry in Nigeria? Can we also say the same of the Ministry of Justice? These are two ministries where you don't bring non-professionals to manage. We manage the two ministries effectively. Are we not still having cases of non-diligent prosecution of cases? Should it then become optional that we could bring someone who's not professional into those ministries? No, what I'm saying is, I am not saying they should go away from me, but I'm saying we should lay emphasis on governance. We should lay emphasis on monitoring and evaluation. We should lay emphasis on following through. We should lay emphasis on oversight, getting people to do what they are supposed to do. And if they are not doing it, irrespective of their political lineage, irrespective of their professional calling, they should be asked to step aside. Like Edith said, now why do you want to attach portfolios to ministers before they go for screening? No. As far as I'm concerned, I don't believe in it, and I will explain why. You have attached portfolio for this minister, he has gone for screening. Remember that after screening, the president has the right to redeploy his ministers. Yes. So if you have screened them specifically, this one for petroleum, this one for interior, this one for defense, and then tomorrow the president sees things there is a reason to move them around, you have already taken away that power, because what you are saying is that you have screened them for the only position they are qualified for. A minister of the Federal Republic is a minister of the Federal Republic, and everybody should be subject to the same standard, and we should be looking at their ability to oversee things, their ability to follow through. It's the same thing that it's wrong in health, that is wrong in education, that it's wrong here, that is wrong there. In most cases, it's our inability to follow instruction. It is our inability to stick to processes and procedures. It's our inability to follow regulation. And those are the practical things. It's not rocket science that traffic lights are meant to be obeyed. But both the high and mighty and the low in the land, from the taxi driver who is a commercial person to the senator to the minister, they all break the traffic light, is it not? So our inability to follow processes and procedures should not be excused for professional calling. No, it is that a person who is ready to work will work. And if we have thought you can work and they put you there and you think you are not able to do the work, rather than saying you are doing the best anybody can do, simply, apology to one of the former presidents, simply let us know I am doing my best. If my best is not sufficient, then let's try someone else. And I think that is that at all levels. And that is, for me, the big challenge that we are facing. People not being sincere enough to know the point where they have failed in their responsibility, or they have been incapacitated for whatever reason from doing what they think they are supposed to be doing.
All right, let's just I guess we'll just take a breather, and when we get back we'll make progress. Welcome back. You're still on to The Polity, and it's coming to you from the Center of Unity, the Abuja studio of Kaftan Television. And we've been talking about the resignation of the defense minister, which occurred yesterday and has been generating a whole lot of buzz in the media space and the public space. And I've been talking with my guests, and right now we will be making progress from where we stopped. We have heard one or two persons speak on the matter. Someone has said even the appointment from the very beginning, they didn't quite sit well concerning, considering their antecedents and all that. And someone has said it would be nice going forward to ensure that people, when nominees their portfolios are also submitted alongside when they go for confirmation at the Senate. One party says there's really no need for that. So we go to another of our guests, Mujahid Zeitawa is of Maja. And Mujahid, what's your take on the issue at hand? I'm sure you didn't see this coming, did you?
I'm already listening, and I see what I was supposed to say about this issue. It's very simple, because all the issue is about the leadership, or desirable leadership, who is capable to deliver the mandate of his office. When the president came to office, he take a lesson from the previous government. Let Buhari spend almost 6 years to 6 months or 8 months without appointing his ministers. He rushed to appoint his ministers to start. Coincidentally, the Minister of State and the Minister of Defense and National Security Advisor, 2 ministers, they are not in the system of security experience or security leadership. All, if you look at the government or the leadership of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, from the National Security Advisor and those 2 ministers, military has no representation. In my own side, that is what I'm looking. And last week, one of the members of the National Assembly raised a motion in the House of Representatives. His name is Alassane Adodogwa. Called the attention of the president to announce or to accept the issue of insecurity. Immediately when the president heard his voice, he declared state of emergency in insecurity in Nigeria. At that moment, 2 issues happened from the kidnappers. They kidnapped almost 24 girls in Kebbi State. They kidnapped almost 250 in Niger State. Immediately, the president announced 2 ministers to go and take over their mandate. The state minister go directly to Kebbi and bring back the girls with good result. Nothing happened to them. What I was looking, based on my experience, I look at Badaru. He's the one posted to Niger State till the day of his resignation. National Security Advisor was being delegated to America to go and settle the issue. They came back with a good result. Even American government has already accepted to work together with Nigeria and bring finance support equipment to fight the insecurity in Nigeria. But his arrival yesterday, after the resignation of the Badaru from Defense Minister, the National Security Advisor has already, after his arrival, visit the schools and meet with the principal of the school. His first announcement became happiness to our nation, claiming that they have the root and the contact of the children, and now we are expecting the same result will be coming. To me, I was looking, these issues happen in a time that Tinubu, either some of his cabinet are failing to deliver the mandate, more especially Badaru was in the northwest, where all this issue of insecurity are affected. It's a good example in Kano. In a week, kidnappers start attacking in Shanono and Bogoi. After 2 days, they went to Tsanyawa. They are the close boundary with Katsina. And yesterday, in the evening time, 4 of the kidnappers were being arrested inside the metropolitan of the state. That is Dala local government. The security agency has done their own best with the information they gather from the Katsina to Kano. After the arrival of those bandits inside the bus, they arrest them with sophisticated weapons. So what I was thinking about this appointment, since from the day one, Badaru appointed as the minister, insecurity start getting worse, little by little. And we all agree the blame is for the military. At the end, the president reshuffled all the service chiefs. After he reshuffled, problems again continue. To my own understanding, I was thinking there must be something is wrong from those 2 positions, because we all monitored and witnessed the effort making by National Security Advisor, more especially these international matters that took him to America and settled the issue when we heard that directly that Donald Trump has saying a lot to attack Nigeria because of the issue of religious. But now things are going directly. He solved those matters, and we came back on board looking at how some other states are affected. So it means that the representation of Badaru is not helping matters. We need the president to change with substituting one of the best experience, especially this Christopher Musa.
Okay.
I was thinking when he visited the president, I am wishing the president to appoint him as the minister, because where he started and where he stopped is more better than how we in the present situation we have now.
All right. Now that's Zeitawa's take, and let me go to Ben. There are people in the Nigerian space who say that Mr. President should make a clean sweep, and when they say that, they are hinting at why doesn't he just also remove the Minister of State? How do you roll with that?
Well, basically, if you ask me, do we need, like I think last week we were discussing him declaring emergency in the security sector.
Yes.
So when you declare emergency in the security sector, we need to see actions, we need to see movements, we need to see changes. So in practical reality, having Matawale also leave wouldn't be a bad idea. Perhaps, however, if you think he could serve in any other ministry, you possibly can redeploy him while you are looking for better hands, or people who would have their hands on. Remember that Matawale, okay, it wasn't Matawale, the governor before Matawale at some point in Zamfara said he's resigning his duty as the chief security officer of the state. I think it was the governor before Matawale. Matawale came.
What's his name?
Matawale came in his own case, went and maybe do some this and that with the bandits, but the peace never lasted. It was a fragile peace. So basically, for him, like I would always say, for Badaru, we can say whatever we like, but for his 8 years in Jigawa, there were not serious issues. Now, the Jigawa being a passage point, you could access Jigawa from Katsina, you could access Jigawa from Kaduna, and you could access from Kano, and you could access Jigawa from outside the country. If before you know all this Kazaure, Romi axis. They are close to the border.
Right.
So with the closeness to the border, with them being on the aim of Katsina and Kano, and whatever happened in Kano at the time did not affect them in a way. There were possibly one or two things he was doing right. But maybe by the time he got into the center, the capacity to run the center effectively was not there. And that's why I said I would have been interested in a more orchestrated resignation, where you could actually come up with, this is, I came, I saw, this is the reason why I could not conquer. And whoever is coming after
these are the
me,
areas where I conquered.
yeah, and these are the areas where I couldn't. And whoever is coming after me will need to at least do more in these areas. So I would have expected that. So talking about a clean sweep, great. But insisting on the military taking over those positions sometimes is not really.
Because we have also had such situations.
We had situations in the past when they were the ones there, and we still didn't get the right result. But so the thing should be more about.
But maybe they still have a better showing, because when we had T.Y. Danjuma as Minister of Defense, right? I'm sure we didn't have some of these issues.
The situation in 1999 to 2003, when we have T.Y. Danjuma, was not the situation now.
Yes, well,
let's be sincere.
Yes, so we didn't have those issues.
So at this point, we have a different scenario, we have a different issue, and we need to look at it holistically. Perhaps somebody with an intelligence background will possibly even run the system better than a fellow from the core military. Tell you that. Somebody from the DSS or from the NIA or even from the police, it will be funny, who had sufficient intelligence depth, in my opinion, will run better at the center from where we are. Because there is the issue of gathering the intelligence, there is the issue of managing the intelligence, there is the issue of deploying the men. The men you have 1999 to 2003 are not the men you have now. Majority of the senior people you have now, lieutenant colonel, colonels and above, came in after 2000, after 1999. They came in during this political dispensation, and a number of them have baggages. They came along with them into the system because senators, governors, politicians actually brought them in. And in our recruitment process, at least from 1999 to about 2010 until Boko Haram came, I can say that we did more of who do you know, who brought you, and the rest of all manners of patronages in recruiting people into the security and the military sector. And when you have that done, what you would have done is you have taken more of people who saw the privileges in the system, but not those who wanted the judge. There are people who wanted the responsibility, and no matter how hard they try, once they cannot get a senator or get a general, they were not taken. And so when you have loaded the military with crown prince, like I would always say, you expect that when it comes to going to the front, there would always be lapses. And there is nothing you, as the minister, can do at that time, apart from it, there is a basis to remove them. And you can't call to sack so many people at the same time.
No. Let's take a look at this. Did it occur to you? Did you see their performance in this light, that at a point or at certain points in their interventions, it looked as if they themselves had become cogs in the wheel of their own progress? Because if a minister of defense would say that there are places where bombs cannot penetrate, it shows the leaning of the person, or the lack of depth, the lack of understanding of the person, or the lack of commitment of the person, or the lackadaisical attitude of the person. I mean, I don't know how you look at it, but I think that they themselves weren't really in on tackling the challenge. Because how do you say that there are places bombs cannot penetrate?
That is why I say that he has no experience on.
How do you say that there are places bombs cannot penetrate? Yes. That's one. Well, Matawale, in his own case, for example, had running issues with the governor, to the point where he clearly said that the problem in Zamfara cannot be resolved without him. So he makes himself a part of the problem. And by the way, Matawale, the report of Matawale that we had, doesn't also quite position him for the for this role, because this was one governor who is reported, so maybe allegedly, was buying Hilux cars for bandit leaders as a way of apparently as a way of how do you say it now, of placating them. But should you be placating people who have taken laws into their hands, who are killing people from right, left, and center, who are killing people across divides of religion, across divides of whatever, and just, on a killing spree? So if you have someone, a governor, who was placating, on what basis? And then he continues to make himself a factor, an inhibiting factor in the fight against insurgency in Zamfara. How does that play out? How do you really intend to win? How do you see that?
No, like I said, he was governor 4 years. He had agreements or whatever I call it with the bandits. It never worked. So it tells you that whatever strategy he used
didn't work.
The governor did not work. And that's why I said, when you come back to the center, now the truth is this. I once had an MD in an engineering company, or so to say, who wasn't an engineer. And so when you ask him certain questions, he tells you the limits to what he knows, and tell you that this technical detail are for the technical people to answer. But that from what he knows, this and this and this and this is what this machine is designed to do. Now you have the tendency of a number of, now in the Nigerian system, in the public space, there are 3 classes of people. Those who don't know, who wants to prove that they know, whether in uniform or out of uniforms. Those who know,
but they are hiding the thing.
But they don't want to do anything, so they can continue to feign ignorance.
Exactly.
Then those who know, who will do what they want to do and refuse to do what they don't want to do. Those are the 3 class of people.
That last class,
that
say it again.
They know, right? They know, they have all the information,
yes.
They have all the knowledge, they have all the skills, but they will only decide to do what they want to do. They will act to the limit to which they want to act.
Okay.
If situation demand and they are required to go further, they can do more.
But they
have that class of people, but they will not if nothing prompts them. But there are those people who know and they are not even ready. They don't want. If they can avoid it, they won't do anything. But there are those who don't know and they are in the majority. They always want to tell you that they know. They are on top of their game. And so those who know will continue to look at them and will make jest of the system.
But so for me, making jest of what value is making jest of them? The problem is confronting all of us.
The truth is, if you tell them they don't know, you see, when you argue with a fool, you can get injured. The power is possibly in their hand at that moment, right? The man is carrying a gun. He says he wants to check your phone. You are in the bush place. You are saying the law says you don't have right to check my phone, Abi. If he gets you shot at that instance, who will be the witness?
Nobody.
They will leave you there and go away. So to a large extent, you needed to manage that. Even though you know it is your right, you might need to subjugate that right to live so that you can fight again. So those kind of things are there. But apparently, if you ask me, like I said, for the Minister of State for Defense, from day one, I don't think I have ever. If anybody that believes in negotiating with the mandate, with the bandits, and with non-state actor, can definitely not represent the state correctly. Because if you are going to, even when people talk about non-kinetic, I think one of the former chief of army staff is always loud about that. At some point, some people also fail. If you make him
defense minister who is going to do this and that or MSA. But this is my approach. Before you go to non-kinetic approach, you must not do that because you are handicapped because kinetically.
Yes,
you should be ready kinetically.
You should do that from a position of strength.
From a position of strength,
yes,
is where you are now saying, okay, you don't want to waste life.
Yes,
let's discuss. Let's make your life better. Let's solve your problem. Yes. So it is not a case of I can't beat you.
Yes,
I can beat you,
and I have beaten you,
and I will beat you. Yes. But I don't want to continue to beat you. Mm-hmm. I want your life to be better. That would be the case. But not the non-kinetic approach that we are doing out of the fear of we don't have enough men, we don't have enough material, we don't have enough boots on ground. Because for me, that's what seems to be happening in some environment. But when you show that you have that capability, I can't remember who was that commissioner. He got to Kaduna, to Bauchi, went to what they call all the hotspots, did some massive arrest.
Commissioner of Police?
Yes, did some massive arrest some years back, and thereafter he now said, okay, let's have a skill acquisition center where you guys can get some skills. Whether you want to use it in the state or you go and use it elsewhere.
But at least your
life would have been improved and will be better. He didn't start preaching that on the street. First of all, he took them into custody. Before the negotiation now started as to, okay, let's have training and capacity that can improve their life. If they were still on the street, they would have said it's because he is afraid of them. That's why he's begging them.
But now they were in custody.
He has taken them and put them in custody.
All right.
And so that is the approach that it should be. We need more men. We need more material. We need to show that competence that we are able to guide our land. But not that you think that, okay, today you move through to the northeast, northwest is empty, or north central is empty. No, we should get to that point where if you are moving, there should be a balance. You will not live where they are living. No post is left empty.
Yeah.
Because you have moved people to a direction.
What's your take on those people who say, even as Badaru has gone, they should also remove Matawale?
No, I am not together with those issues, because a state minister, let us be clearly, is a rubber stamp. The power and the influence is on the minister, the big minister, the main minister, Badaru. The responsibility of the whole defense is on his hand. Look at the situation happen in Kebbi, while the governor of Kebbi claimed to say that there is withdrawal, there is intelligence report by the DSS to the military, and immediately before they kidnapped the girls, the military security personnel were being withdrawn. Who is responsible? The Minister of Defense. Because up to now, no any measures were being taken or any action against. But when the Matawale, I'm very sorry, when the Matawale was being posted to go and bring back those girls, immediately when the mandate came to his office, he did his best and bring back those girls. The matter has already been closed now. But why the Badaru will be posted to Kebbi until the arrival back of the National Security Advisor? Something is happening. Do you know why? Nuhu Ribadu has security experience, intelligence experience, because he works with as a police.
As a policeman.
That make his blood and his experience go directly to know how, where, and when he's going to solve the issue of either insecurity or security matters. Exactly what happened to him for his mandate when he traveled to America. He went and bring back a good result. But up to date, if you put Badaru on table of his performance, from the day he was appointed as a minister up to date, the insecurity is from insurgency to insecurity. You cannot even differentiate between the insurgency and insecurity. This side, those two major geopolitical zones we have in the north. In northeast, insecurity, insurgency. Northwest, insecurity. And that is where he came from. He came from Jigawa. Jigawa is a small state. Look at the insecurity in Zamfara. In Kebbi is affected. Katsina is affected. Also Kano. when he was the minister. But to me and my experience, I am just begging the president, if he's going to appoint a minister, let him appoint a minister that deserves the experience of the military. Okay. That is my own prayer.
So, Mr. President, I'm sure that your aides can take that to you. Appoint someone who has some military background.
Exactly.
Let's see if we can get back to Dr. Stephen Okwori. Let's see if we can get back to him.
Even our organization yesterday wrote a letter to the president begging him to appoint Christopher Musa as the Minister of Defense.
Doctor?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's take you one more time.
Okay.
Yeah, so there are people, there are voices in the public space suggesting to Mr. President that he should make a clean sweep. What do you say to that? Make a clean sweep, that is to say, remove the state Minister of State, also Matawali.
Yeah, Mr. President shouldn't wait for such advice. I think that it's something that he should do as quickly as possible. Right. You know, when he rejigged the military, I also suggested that he would have rejigged the other security agencies as well as also his cabinet, right? Because we are talking about security here. The minister himself, for me, is even more qualified to be in the defense ministry. The fact that I didn't like the portfolio that was assigned to him compared to the Minister of Defense. With the 4 years that the Minister of State for Defense served as governor of Zamfara State, what was his scorecard? We saw him negotiating with bandits and all that. You know, one of his interview was on the social media that I watched yesterday or this morning. It was on the part of bandits. So we shouldn't have such a person as Minister of Defense. You know. So I think that the man shouldn't even wait for Mr. President to ask him to leave. Then he also told the other part of also tendering the resignation letter and leaving that Ministry of Defense. It's as simple as possible. And also the Minister of Police Affairs. What value has he added to the police institution in the last 2 years or more that he has been Minister of Police Affairs? Right. So from the very beginning, I expected that Mr. President would have given them a KPI, you know,
yes,
key performance indicator. Let us see how to score them. Yeah. But we haven't seen anything value added with regards to their service all the while they've been there as minister. So the president should also rejig his cabinet, especially in the security space.
All right, Doctor.
And bring in new people that have some form of security knowledge and background.
All right, so that's where we want to go now. So what skill set should we be looking for in whoever is going to take up those positions right now? What skill sets are critical to success?
Pardon?
What skills set should we be looking at for those who will take up those positions or that position of the Minister of Defense?
The Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So I think that he should consult very widely within the security domain, right, and see who to bring on board. My only recommendation is that the person should have security knowledge. Okay. The person should be professional, right, within the security space that has something to come and offer. We have a lot of them out there. There are some of them that are not even in the military or the police or TSS. There are civilians like myself that have been in the security space for close to 2 decades now. Such person can also have the opportunity to offer himself for such responsibility. So the president should consult widely and see how to bring who he deems fit. But the person that we have said must have knowledge. The person should be familiar with the terrain. They shouldn't take the person to an unfamiliar terrain where he doesn't have what to offer. Right? At this point in time, we need delivery. We need decisive action. Right? and to see how to confront this common enemy that is confronting us today.
All right. Just before you go, probably this will be the last time we'll call you in. From all indications, what has happened in the last few weeks with the recovery of those who were abducted is a clear vote for non-kinetic approach. It looks like as though those people were actually, the ransom was paid. I mean, because this idea that they were just called and then they released the abductees sounds quite hollow. I don't know how that sounds to you, but it looks like something. Definitely there was some exchange and all that, or how do you see it? And if that is so, it looks as though government has already taken a position as to how the way forward, how to go.
You see, when it has to do with abduction or kidnapping in Nigeria, what happens, especially when government is involved, right? No government will come out clearly to tell you that they paid ransom to see that the children of the abducted school girls were released. Are you there?
Yes.
Yeah, so when you have to do with kidnapping, three things plays out. When you have to do with when victims or hostages regain their freedom. To regain freedom, either they are rescued, or they are released, or they escape. When you have to do with rescue, of course you expect a confrontation between our operatives, security operatives, and the bandits or the kidnappers, because our security operatives are entering their territory. So there's a possibility of collateral damage in the event where they are entering their territory. There's a possibility of an ambush, right? So the operatives and the victims are usually at a high risk position, unless when this kind of operations that has to do with rescue, because it involves force, it involves intelligence, in coordination among the security agents in trying to see how to embark on a rescue mission. What has to do with release? It has to do with some form of negotiation. Either the kidnappers or bandits put up a demand that the government will at the end of the day agree or accept, or ransom negotiation when the demands when the terms are met, they pay. Now this kind of and the third one is okay. I mean, no rescue, no release was carried out. Now in this kind of operation, the government uses back channels everywhere said to save their face and others, and to give Nigeria the impression that they have rescued the children. But in rescuing the children, we expect to see either the criminals are apprehended or they are neutralized. But in this case, we didn't see anything. We didn't see arrests were not made. We didn't see dead bodies of these families that they were neutralized. But you see, the fact is, the government needs to see how to prevent these incidents from happening. That's the only way we can go about it. How do we do it? We need to go local. Do we have any local structural security organization that can see how to confront these criminals when they come? Because when they come, we don't see police there, we don't see soldiers there. Unfortunately, we saw already in the news that the troops were given orders and they withdrew also. But I think that should be investigated, right? And all that. But the fact is, the ransom paid, the government did not come out to tell us. Where the hostages or victims released, they were released. Where terms and conditions met, yes, the terms and conditions were met, but the terms and conditions are not known. The government did not tell us, you understand? So that it will be weakness of the part of government to tell Nigerians what actually played out, before the worshippers and the school children and others, before they regain their freedom.
Now, Doctor, with the picture that you have painted, are we not unwittingly encouraging the business of banditry and kidnapping when you have such humongous amounts being paid, and also when there are no consequences? Are you there, Doctor? Doctor? Yes. Okay. So, maybe I should bring that to the house.
I just need to one more point.
Yes.
To me,
because we are rounding up now.
Yeah, I thank God every Nigerian witnessed the performance of those 2 ministers, including with the National Security Advisor, and the reshufflement of the service chiefs clearly indicated the wills of the president to resolve the issue of insecurity, especially the time he declared state of emergency on insecurity in Nigeria. And the cause of all this is among the resignation of the Minister of Defense. If he had performed better, I don't think Nigeria will look at what is happening about the issue of what he was saying about bombing the forest of Mozambique. It's a shame and disgrace to a minister like him. But I'm not reasoning, because he is not part of the experienced military job. He was appointed, became a minister. He's a businessman before he became the governor of Jigawa State. He's a businessman. He's a sheep. The history of his business, he started from Kotokombo Television and AC. When he brought it from Belgium, he started bringing cars. He colluded with one businessman in Belgium, Sokaka. He started bringing ships of Tokombo, abundant television and preach into Nigeria. At the end of the day, he became selling fertilizers, importing and exporting it.
So he has clearly no security background.
Do you know his name? Calculator. Because what he's doing is just about business. That is why he has no experience about security.
Right.
And that is why Northern Nigeria has its own problem. So we thank God for the president that he sacked him. But people are saying that it's based on health matters. Let's go ahead on that. But we are making the president to bring someone that has military experience.
All right, now let me ask you, somebody who has military experience, and there's so much been going around as rumors, so much that there's a likelihood that Christopher Musa might be brought in.
We are the one.
So you're in support of that?
I'm the one start this propagation. I'm the one write a letter to the president. I now even write a letter to the National Assembly begging Mr. President appointed Christopher Musa as a Minister of Defense.
All right.
Because I believe he has a lot of experience of how to handle the issue of insecurity in Nigeria. Because his history background clearly indicated, there was a time that I will remember when he said that insecurity is a collective assignment of all Nigerians, not only to government. If we colluded ourselves, join our hands together, we must crusade the insecurity, not only a government responsibility.
All right.
Yeah.
Ben, what do you have to say to that?
Well, like I said, somebody with military background will be good.
Yeah.
But somebody who have now the military man possibly see things from the military point of view, from his regimented sense of view.
Right.
For me, I would possibly be looking at somebody from the intelligence sector who possibly now this is the way it is. For the military man, they are because he is regimented, because that is his core. I see their view. Sometimes it's not an insult to be at that level of chicken. The chicken immediate space.
But the National Security Advisor is from the
immediate space. He gathers it.
And the state minister.
Now we are going to look at some civilian run the military system from an aeroplane vision. They are too far to connect with the reality of the military system.
Based on political
and so politics come in, procurement issues become the order of the day, and everything runs around. But when you are bringing somebody from the intelligence community or somebody who is, it could even be from the academic, who is a security subject expert, they will always run with an helicopter vision. They are not too far to see everything, but they are seeing wider than what the average combatant soldier is seeing. So if I am my way, you're running at that level of somebody who has a broad view. Definitely if he's going to be from the army, for instance, maybe not an infantry person, perhaps somebody from the DMI who rose through the rank in the DMI. But you need a lot. You need somebody who has some layer of theory, some layer of intelligence gathering to be able to put things in perspective. Because like we said, we are not fighting war that everybody line in array. A lot of things and infightings are going on. And so you need somebody who has that balance to understand the concept, to understand the process, to understand the practice, and then allow the practitioners to do their job without interference while he's doing his own monitoring and evaluation at his level. But when you bring in somebody who doesn't know what to monitor, then there is a problem. When you bring somebody who is already maybe linked to one of those in the system, the chances are that he's like you are selecting a team, and then you have somebody who does things exactly like you. If care is not taken, you are beclouded to think because you did it well when you were there, that fellow who do it like you was also going to do it well. But the reality is that the template might have been adjusted a little, and some of the things that worked for you may not exactly work for the person. But in all, you need somebody who is hands-on, who is ready to get the job done, but who has the knowledge and who has the fairness of mind not to micromanage. Allow everybody to do their job, monitor them, and then give the guidance where it is required, and let people who must be called to order and curtail be called to order and curtail as quickly as possible, and ensure that when it comes to procurement, supplies and the rest, that the funds go to where the funds should go at the right time. Not that you are finding people on the street carrying millions of naira in the name of carrying it for one general or the other. If there are payments that should be made, it shouldn't be cash. Transfer can happen everywhere today. So buy the item, pay for it. You need to pay the men on the front line, pay them, they will get their alert, rather than paying people like what do you call them, casual workers. Soldiers are not casuals. So stop moving the cash. Let's sit down and focus on doing the job and solving the problem that should be solved.
You know, something just occurred to me now, that it must take the maturity of Nigerians for not raising eyebrows, because you have a situation where, as we speak, maybe until recently, where you had some slight change. You had an NSA that is from the north.
Yes.
You had a substantive minister of defense that's from the north.
Yeah.
A minister of state that's from the north.
Yeah.
The CDS until just a month or so ago was also from the north.
Yeah.
And people from some other regions didn't raise anything.
The major problem the major problem of the insecurity and insurgency is from the north.
It's from the north.
So if for the perspective of the Asuwaji Ahmed Tinubu new policy, every problem must be solved with the community or the members of that community. So that is my own understanding and information that I gather.
Yeah, but
because we believe he inherited the insurgency. When he was in the power, the insecurity became another transmission, more especially in the northwest. That is why
I think that's a point that needs to be taken away from that. Or you want to say something?
No, when you finish, I
don't finish.
Okay.
Because if the way that he was saying, he needs someone from the intelligence to be in Nurba is from the intelligence. The state minister is from the civilian. So we need the support to bring someone from the military representation that has the total experience, more especially how the situation of the country is getting worsening. So we need this, and begging Mr. President to consider our request for taking someone from the military to talk over from the executive council.
All right,
cabinet.
We've got just 1 minute to go, so let's see what we can do with that.
We wish the nation will get better.
Inshallah.
Like I said, we need somebody who has the requisite knowledge and understand the practice of responsible delegation, not micromanage. We don't need a micromanager in the Ministry of Defense. We need somebody who will give everybody the free hand to do their job and give them what they need to do their job, irrespective of whether he knew them from Adams or not. That way, we will get better. And as for our recruitment going forward, if we need to beg the politicians, let us beg them. Allow people who want to do the job to come and take it, not people who are connected. When people who wants to do the job comes in to take the job, they will be there to do it. When you bring in people because they are connected, they will still use their connections to run away from the country when the ships are down. So please let us encourage that people who wants to join the police, people who wants to join the military, because they understand what it takes and they want the job, should be the people given, not people looking for salary, not people looking for political patronage. Security should not be a job for political patronage. Our politicians should please help us and allow merit and interest and passion and qualification.
All right, allow interest, the military, allow passion, allow merit to be the center. I mean, the deciding factors. That's what we're going to hold it down. Cut the program, and it's been a wonderful time with Ben Agunloye, with Mujahid Zeitawa, and with Dr. Stephen Okwori, who was on call with us. I do hope that you had a great time yourself, and I want to encourage you to stay permanently tuned to Kaftan Television. Join me again at 8 o'clock. From 8 to 9, I'll be on Matters Arising, and we'll bring you some of the topics, or it might just even be this one also, taken through another angle. And my name is Dayo Mogun. Thank you so much for staying tuned to Kaftan Television. I want to say thank you to the production team, Hi, Divine, every one of you. You're simply wonderful. Sam, Ephraim, every one of you. Thank you so very much for your little beats that make the whole. Thank you very much. It's bye for now from Dayo Mogun.